Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Happy Devils Wednesday. This is Devils After Dark, coming to you live from the Primetime Radio studios inside the bunker, an undisclosed location in both North and South Jersey. Streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, X Live, Twitch, and now on Instagram Live on the Let's Go Devils Network. I'm your host, Sam Wu, here with Nick Villano as Scotty is on assignment. I hate to be where he's at right now, producing New Year's Eve shows for SiriusXM, all the channels. It's on Scotty right now. And last I heard, he's got problems. And Nick, Devils winning 3-2 today in Columbus. Just a big victory. And how are you?
I'm good. I'm about to get Andy Cohen toasted on this New Year's Eve after that win. Let's go.
All right. Well, let's get to the game recap, Nick. As you know, lots happened in this game. I'll be doing the recap, folks. Just give me 1 second here. I do it a little differently than Scotty. And
Because I got a lot to say.
Yeah,
so
yeah. I'll speed it up.
You got to get to me.
Yeah, I'll speed it up. All right. Let's. There, I got the music going. Devils, Blue Jackets at Nationwide Arena in Columbus. Devils coming in after a bad loss against the Toronto Maple Leafs the night before. And in the first period, it was still bad. Nick. Mason Marchman scores for Columbus. Columbus takes a 1-0 lead, assisted by Marchenko and Mayo. 1-0 Columbus. They would hold on and into the first intermission. 1-0 Columbus. Second period, not much better. Because midway through the second period, Charlie Coyle, former Boston Bruin, scores his 6th goal of the season, makes it 2-0 Columbus. The negativity was setting in. I was already pre-planning this Devils After Dark. What's with this team? It's driving me nuts, and it was doom and gloom. But that goal, assisted by Boone-Jenner and Sillinger, Columbus up 2-0. Going into the second intermission, I was already mad. I know you were mad. I'm sure all Devils fans were mad. And I'm just like, just put the puck on net. I don't care anymore. Third period, well, I think somebody said something, Nick. And we'll get to that a little bit later. Because 2 minutes and 49 seconds in, Jack Hughes passes it to Luke Hughes. And what did he try to do? He tried to put it on net. No hesitation. Quick snapshot. Deflects off a Heischer. Heischer with a power play goal. 11th of the season. Devils coming back down 2-1 to the Blue Jackets. But is this fool's gold? I don't know. But Arseny Gritsik, he had something to say about it. Ties it up. Less than a minute later, 8th goal of the season, assisted by Timo Meier and Siegenthaler. It's now 2-2. Are you believing what we're seeing right now? Where was this team a month and a half ago?
Wait, are you asking me, or are you still doing the recap?
I'm still doing the recap. Anyway.
Okay. I'll do it here. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. And, sorry about that, Nick. And then Luke Hughes scores the 3rd goal. I didn't move at that point. There was no time to move. You know, as soon as the Devils scored, I'm like, I'm sitting on the couch. I have my remote on the right hand. I'm not moving. I got my left foot hurting, but I'm not going to touch it and move it because it's hurting in that little position on the couch. 3-2 Devils, and it would remain that way. Devils winning 3-2 in Columbus. A come-from-behind victory tonight which I had my doubts. And again, Nick, I'm still pissed. I'm still pissed. It's kind of like being a parent. You're a parent, and you're pissed at your kid, but your kid did something right to kind of save the night, but you're still pissed at the kid. But the floor is yours, Senator. I want to know what you think of this.
A good example is if you get a kid who all year is getting a C in science class and gets an A on the final. It's like, well, if you were capable of this the whole time, why didn't you just get A's in the first place?
Yeah.
It's like you don't want to chastise for the result because it's a good result. But here's where I'm at. I have had this weird cautious optimism about this team. I've said that 2025 is going to go out with a bang in a terrible way. I thought this team, everything looks bad, and I thought Jack Hughes was still going to be out. You could tell. I mean, we saw at the end of last game. Let's just go yesterday because, this is first time I'm talking, obviously, since yesterday. Nico Hischier fought, and then the team immediately let it, seconds later, let up a goal against Toronto. It did nothing except for just take one of their best offensive weapons off the ice for 5 minutes. He fought nice, so at least there was some, equality there about taking off similar offensive presences, but it didn't work. They at least immediately scored. There's something inherently wrong with this team. The broadcast and the broadcast is getting a lot of flack right now, and deservedly so. There's way too much positivity for how terrible this. I've turned on this team. I don't know if you've seen my Twitter account, the blog, everything. Rightfully so. I've turned on this team. I don't think this team is very good. The broadcast has just brought up a lot of positivity. We love Bryce. We love Kenny. They're both friends of the podcast. But sometimes you got to say they suck. And when they said when they finally when the floodgates are going to open, I think that part is true. And we saw it tonight. There is an inherent lack of confidence in this team, and are you kidding me? When Nico didn't score that goal yesterday, where it was on the doorstep, and he finally got his his stick was being held down by I can't remember who, maybe it was McMahon or whoever, and he finally got his stick out. And then he finally got the tip, and Wall got his paddle up, stopped the puck from going into a wide open net. And then I think Brad had a chance. There was chances yesterday, and they got shut out. And there's that image of Nico Hischier sitting on the bench by himself. One, I don't care who this team shouldn't have ever let that happen. Your captain is distraught. He's not playing well, and the team is losing. Those two things are terrible, and he's putting a lot of himself, obviously. There's too many veterans on this team. Brett Pesce shouldn't let that happen. Brendan Dillon shouldn't let that happen. Dougie Hamilton shouldn't let that happen. Andre Palat, nobody should let your captain just sit there. I don't care what he says. You got to learn what the optics are of this team and just how it's going to put more pressure on you. They come out tonight and lay just an absolute egg. The first period was a nothing. Right, I didn't think that there was much of anything. I didn't think they played terribly, but I don't think they played well. You know what I mean? I'm not the process is there. I've said this a lot lately. The process is there, but they're not getting the results. The process wasn't there. It was just kind of a boring period, and the Blue Jackets happened to score. It's kind of one of those things. The second period was awful. They just came out and they were flat, and it looked like it was going to be another 4-0 game. And I'm not going to lie to you, Sam. I said this in one of the many group chats I'm in about the Devils. I said, don't like the way they look. coming into the third period, didn't like the way they looked. I didn't like the way Sheldon Keefe looked. I didn't like the way Sheldon Keefe looked just like his ADD was acting up. I don't want to downplay that, but he just looked like he was like staring into space. And just and this is before puck drop, so maybe he was just kind of going over some plays in his head, give him the benefit of the doubt, but it just didn't look good. The faces didn't look good. It was a team just kind of man, not even I've seen this team before, be like, man, where are we going out later tonight? And I don't love that, but I'd rather that than the whole man, we're about to play hockey again. Almost dreading it. It's dreading going to work. And then, by the way, that first goal, did that officially go to Heischer, or is it still Luke Hughes on the scoreboard?
It's officially to Heischer.
Okay. It was very obviously Heischer's.
It was in the game recap.
You were. I was trying to share it on Facebook at the time. I apologize.
Oh, okay.
I caught the other two goals.
Yep. No
I'm trying to get this place everywhere. But so Heischer scores the goal. I remember. I remember the part where you said Luke Hughes did the thing he was supposed to do. He gets the pass from Jack Hughes and just throws it towards net. He doesn't even take a slap shot. Just kind of throws it. And Heischer's in the right place at the right time. Finally. Timo Meier's tipped so many pucks lately and it's just off a little bit. Finally, we get a guy who's in the right place at the right time, and he tips it home. I believe it went 5-hole, right? He tipped it and went right under Greaves. I believe that's what happened.
Yeah, that part I don't know, but
okay. So I think that's what happened. He tipped it, went right in the 5-hole. You get some luck, and I know they scored the 3 goals in 2 minutes, so it couldn't have been very long after that where Arseny Gritsik just snipes one. I believe it was off I got a little confused because the broadcast got it wrong, but I believe it was off a Jack Hughes pass to Gritsik, and Gritsik just snipes it, just puts it right past Greaves, and now you're like, oh, that's a skilled goal, and that's something we haven't seen in a long time. It's been a long time since the Jack Hughes goal, the day he came back. We haven't seen a goal like that where it's just a snipe. It is a team, or I'm sorry, it is a player that just beats the goalie. We haven't seen that in a long time. All of our goals have been dirty. All the Devils' goals have been gritty and grindy and gross. You finally got one where skill beat the goalie. And then a minute later, Luke Hughes does the same thing.
Yep.
And that one's a Luke Hughes goal, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Sam, this is the first time I'm going through all of the games in my head. That is the first period where I said there had been times where I was like, I could see Luke Hughes being a number 1 defenseman. I could see it based on the skill set, based on what he does. That is the first time I said Luke Hughes played like a number 1 defenseman. That is the first time. He was incredible in that third period, and on the defensive side. And listen, I thought he was really good all game. I'd have to look at the whole. I haven't looked at the stats yet, in the kind of the underlyings. So, but he broke up a lot of pucks. Here's an underrated play in this game. It was a 2-on-1. No, somebody got behind Luke. Luke made a conscious decision that his best chance to stop a breakaway was to block it. I believe it was in the second period. Maybe it was the first period. But it was. I think it was. Anyway, you'll know the play if you remember it. But Luke Hughes was on the offensive blue line right outside the zone, and he knew that the puck was lost, and he skated in the passing lane. He's like, my best chance is to tip this puck. Now, the broadcast said that, I think it was Marchenkov, I'm not 100% sure, but that he lost control of the puck. But Luke Hughes actually tipped that puck away and just made an incredible play on what would have been a breakaway. And this is the confident Luke Hughes that they need to see. I don't think that Luke Hughes is not confident. I think that Luke Hughes' confidence is sending him the wrong signals. And this is the first time. It's almost like Luke Hughes makes reactions when he should be making, like, he should think. Like, I know this sounds stupid, but he should think before he makes a play. You saw the calculation happen in his head, and he made the right play. And I saw that all through the third period. He calculated and then reacted. This is what I should do. This is the higher percentage play. And that's not going to come without risk. That was a risky play that Luke Hughes made, where he tried to get into the passing lane. He could have skated, as fast as he could back down and try to catch up with Marchenkov, but he thought my best chance here is to block this pass and knock it away from him, and did it. And then you see on that first goal to Hischier, he looked at all of his options. He's like, I could pass to Brad over there. I could pass it back to Jack Hughes. I'm just going to throw it. Or you can slap shot. Nope, I'm not going to slap shot it. I'm going to throw it at the net. It was probably a 40 to 50 mile an hour shot, which is nothing for those who don't know. And Hischier got eyes on it, perfect vision, and got to tip it in. And then he made another chance move where he got in front of the net, and he was all alone, and he just took a snipe of a shot. That was the first time I've ever seen Luke Hughes in a game and say, that looks like a number one defenseman. And,
well, I have to comment on that because I've been pleading with this team to do exactly that, because they've been always trying to make that perfect shot, and it's actually counterproductive. In that sequence, and I actually replayed it 5 times, that sequence, with that DVR and all that good stuff. The reason why it's effective, what Luke Hughes has been doing, and I'll make a baseball analogy, this entire time is he's been telegraphing all of his shots because it's sitting on his blade. The goalie can see it. And in this league, especially when you're taking a perfect shot against any of these goalies, their instincts are going to make the save every single time if that shot actually gets through. In this case, it's kind of like a changeup because he just flicked it like a snapshot. It caught everybody off guard. It got the goalie off balance, and that set up the next 2 minutes, because now after that goalie gave up that goal, he's rattled. And then the Devils kept on peppering him with those shots, and they're all no hesitation. All 3 goals came from the initial shot, were all no hesitation. They did not think. They just put it on net. And that's exactly what I've been complaining about for 3 weeks. Just stop overthinking it. Just throw it on net. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just like what you described, the 40 to 50 mile per hour shot, it's a changeup. Get the rebound. In this case, it was a tip. Textbook done. Everybody's confidence is high. It's amazing what happens when you do those little things. And it was a domino effect. And the only, aside from Hischier, I thought Palat actually played pretty well defensively in a few sequences. But I got to tell you, the one that was the most consistent throughout the entire game was Jake Allen. Those 2 goals that he gave up, it was not his fault. He kept this team in it till they finally, I don't know what happened in that second intermission in the locker room. And did you listen to Bryce and Rachel talk in that second intermission?
I caught it afterwards. I saw it on social, but
they were realistic. They weren't positive. Bryce was ripping out the stats, the advanced stats of the 14 high danger shots that the Columbus Blue Jackets had, and most, I think it was like all but 2 was on 5-on-5, and the Devils only had 1 in the second period. So they were going through, like, I wouldn't say they were ripping on the team, but they were on the same page as the fans during that second intermission.
I mean, he said something that I don't want to misrepresent him, but he said something to the effect of, "This needs to be the best period of your season," or he said something is wrong with the locker room or something like that.
Yeah,
am I remembering that correctly?
Something like that. That they should be, they should be yelling, screaming. I mean, we've been talking about it on this podcast this month about it.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah,
because I was taken aback by this. Were you taken aback? So it was the Washington game. Cody Glass said that Jack Hughes ripped into the team after the first intermission, I believe.
Yep.
Do you remember this?
Yep.
I was taken aback when I think it was James Nichols. They asked Sheldon Keefe, "What did you think when you heard that?" And Sheldon Keefe said, "Well, I'm not in there in the intermission." Were you taken aback by that?
It's funny. Funny you say that. I'll answer the question. It's funny you say that because I spent this morning on the Morning Woo ripping on Sheldon Keefe because in the post game, Rachel asked a simple question about what'd you tell the guys in the locker room after the game? Oh, I didn't see the guys in the locker room after the game. I'll talk to them tomorrow. And I'm like, what do you mean talking to them tomorrow? You talk to them now. This is your teaching moment. You lost 4-0. Why are you talking to them tomorrow, 12 hours removed? So it's funny that you say that because I didn't catch that. But I'm wondering now, to answer your question, yeah, I am taken back by it. I see a pattern here.
I don't like that. I loved the hire. I loved the hire. I think Sheldon Keefe is a quality coach. There is a disconnect.
Yeah.
Something's not clicking, and he's not changing his ways. You have to see that your team is broken and quitting. And sometimes it can't be up to the players. Sheldon Keefe's one of the highest paid coaches in the league. I think he's hovering around $6 million. I need more from you. And no offense to him, none of what I saw tonight was a Sheldon Keefe thing. It was the players. And listen, the players make more than him. A lot of the players make more than him. It's up to the players to really do it, right? They're putting it on the line. But, you do a skills-based practice and then get shut out the next game. I have a problem with that. You complain about having no practice time, and that's why you're having trouble scoring. You have 3 days of practice, and you get shut out. And then they come the next night where you just kind of have to rinse and repeat. They look horrendous for 2 periods. I need my coach to I'm sorry. I don't want you to only talk to them in wins so you get the little social media moment. I don't want that. I don't.
That's very interesting that you're saying that because I caught that this morning when I was listening to all the post-game stuff. I was actually, my intent was to hear the balls comment. Or is this strategy where I don't know. I'm just because I want to hear Sheldon's side of it and why he's doing that, because to me that's very unconventional that you're not talking to your team or you're not I don't know what the strategy is, or is he so fed up that almost like the mentality like my parents did, till you get your act together, I'm not doing a thing. I'm going to let you fail.
Right. So the locker room thing's a little weird, right?
Yeah.
So as somebody who's been in the locker room after games, when I get access to the locker room, it's empty. There's no one in there. And then you wait. The Devils make 3 people available.
Yep.
They choose who's available. You don't. I don't know. Maybe Amanda gets to pick one. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that works out. But from what I understand, the head of communications is the guy who picks them. Again, don't quote me on that, but that's my assumption. You talk to them, you ask them the questions you can ask them, and they do a good job of rotating them. You get you get one of Jack or Nico or Brad or Timo every game.
Yep.
And then Luke talks enough. This is also why a lot of guys go to practice. This is why Nichols and Christy and Ryan and Daniel prioritize those practices, because you could pick who you talk to after practice. In the games, you get who you get. But anyway, so by the time I walked down there and got there, it's truly like 10 minutes. They take off all their gear. Sometimes I'm trying to think. Like sometimes they don't even have their gear off. Like the at least the lowers. So they're taking off their shoulder pads and they're throwing all the jerseys into the bucket, and then they kind of move into the second room, which I assume is like showers and stuff like that or whatever. And so I do think that there's a weird cadence that maybe Sheldon Keefe feels. But again, as a part-time media member, I'll take the extra 10 minutes for you to talk to your team every game. But again, that also doesn't excuse the fact that they don't get spoken to at intermission. Like you have 20. Like what is happening? I assume he's meeting with Colleton and Shaw and Breland, and they're going over a game plan. But like, I feel like you should have it all together going into the game. If we're in this situation, we'll do this. If we're in this situation, we'll do that. I feel like it's so much more important to be there. And I feel like we're getting into it. Like, this was a really good win. I wrote right before the game, because here's the thing. We haven't talked about Columbus at all. Columbus brought Buster Douglas here because they thought this was going to be, quote unquote, what did they call it? Knockout New Year's Eve. Knockout. That's what they called it. That was the official name for tonight's contest, was Knockout New Year's Eve. They said they were going to circle this date on the calendar on December 1st. We're circling this date. Matthew Oliver, circling this date. Circling this date. Y'all did nothing. Y'all got a pretty weak penalty with 5 minutes left on Brendan Dillon, where he got a cross-check, and I saw him. Listen, the hit was a little high, but it was all glove, not a lot of force on it. And he got called for a penalty because that guy dove like nobody's business. There was one fight, and it was definitely weak from Columbus's side. I think Cody Glass was just like, okay. And then he took the guy down. He was on top of him at the end of the fight. Like, it was a lot of happenstance. It was a lot of talk. This is what I saw a lot of. I think what happened is Columbus thought they were going to have that kind of game, and they scored. And they saw that this Devils team was hapless. Like, I don't think the Devils have thought about this team since December 1st because they got enough problem. Like, the hens are crowing. Like, there's a problem in New Jersey. We don't care about Columbus. This is not a game we're circling on our calendar because we don't care. And I had some Devils fans saying, "Well, that's the problem." But like, no, you don't need fake motivation if you're this team. You should be motivated to win. You should be motivated by 2 points. And you could see, I still didn't see the desperation, Sam. I think that's a little bit of a problem. And when I say desperation, I mean like
urgency. That's a good word. Urgency.
Yeah. I just felt like they didn't think they were going to win until they finally scored.
Yeah. Well,
you know what I mean? Like it was a very going through the motions start. There was a lot of like passing back and forth, and then they scored, and they're like, "Oh, we can do that." And they looked up to the clock. It's like we got plenty of time. But before I kind of,
well, they get down on themselves. I mean, let's, we talked all about the positives, but let's get to the elephant in the room. They get so down on themselves. I mean, the first two periods, I was down.
That's why I need my coach to talk to his team.
Yeah, they were down.
A mental case.
And not only were they down, Dougie Hamilton throughout the game was taking bad penalties. Dougie Hamilton was
first
just
was terrible.
Like, he had a couple good shots in the game, but my goodness, is he a liability? again, if it wasn't for Jake the Snake Allen, the third period doesn't happen. He kept him within range of winning the game, and the Devils did come back 2-0 down, and beat and actually got two solid points here on New Year's Eve. There were no really any kind of fights, but the Devils, the Colton White and that second goal and whatever, and they were looking at the replay and all that kind of stuff. It was all like doom and gloom. Again, and then it's like, what is it with this team where they can play so pathetically in the first two periods, and all of a sudden it's like a different demeanor, different team, and I don't know which. And I said this in pregame, Nick, because I don't want the problem to get lost here. I was actually hoping the Devils would lose badly today so we can focus on this problem that needs to be solved, because a win today, which happened, will mask the problems, but it's really just a Band-Aid for today. But they still have serious problems. The cap situation, it still doesn't look good. Dougie Hamilton, hate to say it,
Hamilton's the problem.
He's kind of useless at this point.
Here's the thing, Sam. All right, so you said balls, right? So I'm going to say balls.
Yep.
Okay. This team needs balls. You got the second Nemitz is back, or Kovacevic, whichever one. Second one of them is back, I'm benching Hamilton. You have to sit for a game or two and watch. Because it's going to do two things. I feel bad for Hamilton because I think that it's just he found – I don't know if you remember when we signed Hamilton, but Hamilton – like Carolina was basically like, we don't want you anymore. He's like, I played really well here. They're like, yeah, that's fine. We don't want you anymore. He's gotten traded by Boston, by Calgary, and then Carolina just kind of said, we're fine if you leave. They offered him like $5 million or something like that, like a shockingly low number. So I think Hamilton was sold on a life in New Jersey and a place that accepted him. And the second that New Jersey has the opportunity to trade him, the second his full no trade clause goes to a 10-team trade clause, they're trying to move him. And they're trying to get him to waive. And I do think he's just like apoplectic about the whole thing. I see it in the interviews. I see it in the way he plays. I don't even see frustration a lot of times. I just kind of see acceptance of the fact. And I did warn everybody, like, when he got the pec injury, I was very worried that, like, the pec cooks people. Like, it cooks defensemen. And he looked all right last year for when he played. So I was hopeful that it wasn't going to be him. Like, maybe he wasn't going to be a $9 million defenseman anymore. But maybe he could be a $7 or $6 million defenseman. I think that's okay. But the problem is like, he's like a $2 million defenseman right now. And what I mean by that is, like, he reminds me so much of PK Subban in that first season when he lost his fastball and didn't know what to do with himself. I need Dougie Hamilton to play like PK Subban in his third season. I'm still flabbergasted that nobody signed PK Subban in that offseason. What I'm thinking is Subban probably thought he was still a $6 million defenseman. I was like, I'd rather, instead of playing for $1.5 million or $2 million, I'd rather just go to ESPN. I was hopeful that Hamilton had learned a new, like, I wrote about this earlier in the season that I was like, oh, Dougie Hamilton is doing the Scott Stevens thing, where later in his career he stops being an offensive defenseman and kind of is like a two-way dynamo. He's going to use that big body to hit some people. He's going to lay the wood. Remember like some of those big hits he had in October?
Yeah.
That guy's gone. That guy's gone because I think Tom Fitzgerald went to him again. I think he was playing pretty well, decently well. And then Fitzgerald came to him again and said, I still got to trade you, man. And I think he's just in his own head. And I get it. Like, imagine, Sam, if somebody was like, I'm going to, like, change your city. You're not going to know where. I was going to come to you with it. And you just, like, can you just please accept this? Can you just go to Nashville? Or can you go to Toronto? Or can you go back to Calgary? I don't know. I don't know if these teams are in it, but.
Yeah,
I 7 years.
I get that. But you have to know. I mean, it is a business. Like, Dougie's has to know that when you have a high AAV like that, this is what happens.
I think Tom Fitzgerald sold him some things. And I think Tom Fitzgerald is realizing why some GMs are more cutthroat than he is. I think Tom Fitzgerald is not a cutthroat GM. I don't think he'll do what it takes to win. He might luck into winning.
Yeah.
He has a really good core that Ray Sherrill built for him. But when I see some of the trades he makes, there's just a lot of like nice guy stuff. Like Barry Trotz literally used Tom Fitzgerald as like a punching bag last season. And then Tom Fitzgerald traded him Eric Halla. So clearly, like, they're still talking. And Barry Trotz knows this. And Barry Trotz is not a good GM. You know, but Barry Trotz went into the meeting and said, Tom Fitzgerald keeps calling me about UC Saros. So I know that I have to. He said, I know I have Tom Fitzgerald. So I'll wait till I get my price. You know, I do need my GM to kind of. You're going to make some hard decisions and people aren't going to like you. But people hated Lou until they left and realized I'd much rather have competence and an a-hole than incompetence. But anyway, that's my thoughts.
Yeah, I never thought we'd get that deep about Dougie Hamilton. But, you know, again.
He was a big problem this game, so I'm not that surprised. But anyway.
Yeah. I see Johnny Danks, Tom in the YouTube live, Robert Isaacson, Serve, Bill Agnew. I haven't seen you in a while. A lot
Bill,
of comments.
Where you been, Bill?
A lot of comments. Roman's talking about Stamkos is also a -9. He's just not a two-way player whatsoever. You know.
Are you talking about Stamkos?
Yeah, they're Serve was saying Dougie for Stamkos 1-for-1. I mean, they're joking around. I mean, there's no way you're going to do that. No way.
If they're serious, because I have seen people seriously talk about that, you don't gain enough salary cap back. Yeah. If you did that, that's your upgrade for the season.
Yeah.
And you still have to trade Palat. You probably have to connect something significant like maybe a first, but probably a second-round pick to Palat to get him off this team, just to get Kovacevic back. So I don't think Stamkos is the guy. It's too expensive and it's too long. I like the player on the surface.
I don't think Kovacevic is going to have like that great of impact on this team when he comes back.
Right, but they have no choice.
Well, I know.
Like,
I know.
Yeah, the Players Association is getting involved. I
have a feeling we're going to be losing draft picks because of this. I have a feeling like the longer they kick the can down the road, the Players Association is going to say, hey, these guys are ready. What's taking you so long? Can you figure out this cap situation?
I don't know if that's true. There's too much precedence of teams doing this. Kucherov came back in, what was it, January? In 2021.
Yeah, but we're in 2025 right now. Now 2026 in a few minutes, in about an hour and a half. We're in a different world right now. They already tweaked the rules. They're keeping an eye on you. And I see,
Yeah.
and I have a feeling the Devils are going to get screwed, just like they got screwed with the Kovalchuk thing, where everybody was doing it. Everybody was doing that 17-year contract.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. And it's very glaringly obvious that the Devils need to do it. They don't have the cap space.
Yeah. And I have a feeling they're going to get caught by the league. And we're going to get hosed.
Why do you let them practice?
Well, yeah.
These are the things that you have. Like, you got to just be a little bit tougher. Sorry, Johnny. Like, you got to, you can't practice with the team. Like, what are you doing?
But how did Fitzgerald back himself into this corner so badly? That's why I want to know.
He gave everybody a no trade clause. He gave Johnny.
Yeah, but don't they have captologists? What's Kate Madigan doing? What is she doing?
Was making $700,000 last year, and they gave him a no trade clause. What are you doing? What are you doing? I don't mind. I don't mind the contract on the surface because he did earn a raise, and he would have gotten something like that. I don't think anybody was giving him a no trade clause.
Well, you said it best on the State of the Fan address last week. Why was Fitzgerald giving everybody rewards? You don't have to give everybody a reward, a big contract.
You're paying people like you won a Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
This team's won nothing. They won one series in 15 years or something like that. What is it, 14 years, 13 years, whatever. They've won one series since
2012. Yeah.
And it was a fun series. You beat the Rangers, but won.
Since the Harris Blitzer Sports Entertainment people took over.
Since 2012, we've gone through, 4 rebuilds?
The first one was 2015. Then we got Fool's Gold in 2018 with that playoff run.
Another rebuild.
And then got the Jack Hughes, so that's rebuild number 2.
We stopped the rebuild.
Well, then we fired, or essentially the late Ray Shuro. So basically we have the COVID rebuild, so that's number 3.
COVID rebuild, 3.
And then we didn't make the playoffs.
Then we sucked again. We got Nemeth.
4. Yeah, 4. 4 rebuilds.
4 rebuilds.
1 overhaul and maybe 3 rebuilds.
Whatever. Retools, rebuild, whatever you want to call it. I'm so happy they won this game. I do think it could be a pivot point, but it also could just be a blip on the radar. It's up to the Devils to figure that out. Are there any other comments, Sam? Or do you want to go celebrate the new year?
Let me just read a couple of comments here. They're just going so fast on my my screen. Devil Down Under from Australia. Happy New Year's, guys. I'm from the biggest fans of Land Down Under. I love your show. Wish you both, the very best in 2026. Let's go Devils. Art Heaton, the Rangers playoff series win will be it for a long time, although that was an awesome experience.
Can I just respond to that?
Yeah.
We hear a lot of teams bring up the St. Louis Blues 2019. I do think the Devils are uniquely built like them. I think they have a goalie that can get hot. He's not necessarily good. I don't think Bennington's good. But he can get hot. Markstrom can get hot, and Allen can get hot. They both can get hot and carry a team to the playoffs. Do you know that Blues team had one 30-goal scorer? But do you know what they did have, Sam?
Well, yeah.
They had 14 10-goal scorers. I think this team has 14 players that could score 10 goals.
I would agree.
They do.
I would agree.
Obviously, there's a lot of issues with this team. But you remember that team was in last place in January. This team actually, this win, Sam, I don't know if you noticed, this win avoided either last place or second to last. There was there's some tiebreaker stuff with Columbus. But you needed to win this game. And I think that you could feel good. I think I think it's important. Like, these are stupid and small and shouldn't matter, but I think for a team like this, it does. It's good that they got to feel good before going out for New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
It's dumb. I think it's dumb, but I think they're going to feel good tomorrow. I think they're going to feel good about 2026. I think they're all going to wake up feeling pretty good about themselves. I think they're going to go out together in, I don't know where you go in Columbus, Ohio. Maybe they'll go to Youngstown and party with the college kids. Oh, I guess they're all home, but yeah, I don't know where you go in Columbus, but I'm sure there's something. I'm sure there's something fun to do. And
I mean, that's Ohio State's territory. I mean, yeah, the kids are all back at home, I guess, but there's still foreign exchange students that stay on campus, no?
Oh, and did Ohio State, did they lose or did they win?
Oh, I have no idea. Don't care. My Penn State Nittany Lions won the Pinstripe Bowl, you know.
Good for you, buddy.
Yeah, well, you know, it's New Year's Eve.
Oh, there's 2 minutes left. It might be over. Might be over for good old Ohio State.
I don't know. I just hope these guys don't party too hard and get their heads so big, because I still have beef with this entire team.
I disagree. I need a confident team. This team is so much better when they're confident. I need a
that's obvious, team. But
play like the Panthers. The Panthers play like their SHI doesn't stink. Play like that.
I don't know. I again, there's still a lot of. I mean, I'm looking at the entire scope of work here. There's a lot of things to work on.
Let me ask you this, Sam. Do you think this team is talented?
Oh, that part, yeah, for sure. No
so
doubt.
What do you think is missing? It's coaching?
No,
do you
coaching's
think it's
fine.
An incomplete roster?
I would say that there are a couple moves that need to be made, just like any other team. Nothing special.
Just for the context, since Jack Hughes came back, this is the worst team I've ever covered. I've covered this team for 10 seasons. The worst team I ever covered up until the third period tonight. These 2 weeks are the worst I've ever seen. I'm like trying to go back and think, like, there was either lower expectations, you're just kind of taking what you're taking, or, you know, there's bad stretches in 2019. There's bad stretches in 20.
I mean, if you want my honest opinion, you'll probably disagree. But I think they're just everybody's just too nice. They need more dickheads on this team. They need more people to hold each other accountable. I like to see friction. I don't disagree if it's a skill, like if it's a Tom Wilson guy who could score 20 or 30 goals, or you know, another Timo Meyer. I just don't want Curtis McDermott. Yeah, but
I think this team would do great once they get Zach McEwen back. I think he's a missing piece. Sorry, I keep cutting you off.
What I mean is like a Claude Lemieux. You know, Claude Lemieux was a pain in the ass to his own teammates. But at the same time, Claude Lemieux held everybody accountable. You know,
I think McEwen, I don't think he'll hold people accountable, but I think he'll play like that on the ice. I think he'll play a very Claude Lemieux-like game. Fast, sneaky, but he'll punch you in the face when he has to.
But, you know, in my opinion, I just think that the Hughes brothers and their clique is on one side of the locker room. Then you got the Nico, you know, and his, maybe, I wouldn't say clique, but, you know, it just, the dynamics of that locker room really got messed up with this whole Quinn Hughes thing. It really did. And it kind of exposed how fractured that locker room is. I'm not saying that they're hating each other. It's just they got to play together and be on the same page as a team, and there's nobody to tell. I mean, the coach is not, Sheldon Keefe is not in the freaking locker room after the game or intermission to tell them that they suck and they need to get their heads out of their asses.
Can I ask you one thing? And we can end on this, or unless you have another comment. But I was also a little taken aback that they tried Heischer and Hughes together, and they abandoned it so quickly. In the third period, Heischer was not playing with Hughes. Unless I'm missing something, unless there were some line changes. I was taken aback that you tried it and abandoned it so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And Sam, like on the power play, like they just don't have chemistry. Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier just don't have chemistry right now. They've had incredible chemistry in the past in the power play. So I think this is a microcosm of Hischier's so far in his own head that he can't get out. I do think Hischier's the problem there. But just to your click thing, that's kind of how Fitzgerald built this team, right? He got a bunch of switch players. He got Dadonov and Gritsik. He got, he's got 2 Hughes on the team. He was trying to get a third. But at the same time, Sam, we do see these guys go out together. We do see these guys they throw a team party. I think
they get injured at a team party, or at least one.
I think it's. I think here's what I think happened, because I've heard. I assume we're hearing the same thing. I do think the Quinn Hughes thing affected this team. I think they heard that Tom Fitzgerald could have gotten one of the best players in the league for a package that was largely futures, and he said no. And I think that I've told the story, I think, 3 times on this podcast, but when the Cleveland Cavaliers got Timofey Mozgov, it changed the locker room, because it was like, they got faith in us. Let's just freaking do it. And Tom Fitzgerald just has to pull the trigger. Make the move.
And you want to talk about balls. I've always said it all starts from the top. Sheldon Keith's question, about these guys, their balls. Well, their GM doesn't have balls to make the move. Hate to say it. Or he backed himself in a corner that badly with the salary cap situation. I don't know. Again, I'm just it's everything's open for discussion. I mean, look, I like all the players as a fan standpoint. I think they're all, they all seem to be fine people. But when it comes to winning and all that, I need accountability. I need that. I hold myself accountable every day with this podcast. You get up every morning, you just have to show up. And the problem is these guys are just not showing up. It's not that hard. You got an NHL schedule. Follow it. It's not hard. You got game day. You go in, you show up, 60 minutes. You do your best. But instead, they're overthinking it, all that stuff. But anyway, it's getting late, Nick.
Yeah, we gotta go.
Yeah. Dag Francis said, Happy Woo Year, peeps. Thank you very much. So on this note, Nick, I'm going to ask you. First off, Happy New Year. You and your family, kids, all that kind of stuff. Thank you for filling in for Scotty. But what are you doing for New Year's?
I'm trying not to get sick.
Okay.
We got some sick kids around here, so
Gotcha.
I will say just one quick thing. Just trying to look at some of the post game. I didn't notice this. Miles Wood suffered a pretty serious injury, apparently.
Yeah, it didn't look good.
Yeah, I missed that.
If I was going to speculate, it looked like it's in that ankle region.
It looks like it's a knee.
It's a knee,
but it looks like it's significant. Amanda Stein says that Connor Brown was the guy who stood up and kind of laid into this team during the intermission.
Good. Downtown Connor Brown.
Yeah. Nico Hischier said that they're hoping that this is going to give him a spark. So
yeah, stop hoping.
They're speaking. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I do think that's not the type of thing that saying it out loud. I do think there's impact there. Sheldon Keefe said he's proud of them. Nico Hischier said he's proud of the team. I do think that there's value. There's value to what I'm hearing for. Yeah, I think there's a little bit more confidence, and I think that's important. And that's where we can end it. Happy 2026. Honestly, like, I'm happy to put 2025 in the back burner.
Yeah. I got my New Year's
Pretty bad year.
resolution. Yeah, I got my New Year's resolution. I'll go over that on the Morning Woo tomorrow.
Ooh.
On Happy Woo Year, January 1st, 2026.
That's a pretty good one. That might be your best one.
No, I copied it from the comments. See, this is why you got to read comments in the comment section. They come up with some good ones. You know, tomorrow I got to do like house chores, cleaning, but gosh, does anybody know where I can find a cleaning lady on New Year's Day so I don't have to do it?
I'll clean your house if you come watch my kids.
Wow. I'm telling you, my babysitting skills are a little unorthodox, but it gets the job done. Just so you're
Just
aware.
keep them alive. As long as they're here when I get back.
Okay. All right. Now that I can do. I've done a diaper before. Had to use duct tape. You had to use duct tape to.
They come with Velcro now.
Oh, do they? Okay. Yeah.
And the other one, you know, the ones that pull-ups. You don't even have to. You just have to pull one down and pull the other one up.
I'm actually really good with kids, believe it or not. I'm actually really, really good with kids. You know, they all like Uncle Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway. Well, I want to thank all those tuning in, especially in 2025 coming to close. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Scotty.
Real quick, I got a plug real quick.
Oh, yeah,
Everybody
plug.
go to pucksandpitchforks.com. I'll have a post-game article going up after midnight. Going to watch the ball drop, then I'll write an article. But we got articles up right now. Go to pucksandpitchforks.com.
Yes. And thank you. Till next time, let's go Devils. Happy New Year.